All right, my colleague Arun Sharma joins me live on this from New Delhi. Hi Arun, a very good morning to you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emplained for South Africa to attend G20 Summit. Arun, what can we expect this time?
Well, a lot to expect as far as the G20 Summit is concerned. Point number one, that this is the fourth consecutive time that the G20 is being hosted by a global South country.
Right.
So we can expect the continuation of various visions that were decided in the earlier G20 Summit. Now, also the second interesting aspect is that it is during the India's presidency of G20 2023,
right,
when African Union was made part of the G20. And after that, for the first time, South Africa is hosting the G20 Summit. So this also highlights that the issues, the agenda of the Global South will be highly placed on the table as far as this multilateral platform is concerned. As the theme says, that solidarity, equality, and sustainability are the key aspects. This is the broader theme of the G20 Summit.
Right.
The focus will be on the inclusive aspect, the financial aspect. There are three sessions as far as this G20 Summit is concerned, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be speaking in all these three sessions. Number one is related to the economic angle and the financing aspect or the infrastructure aspect. Second is about the climate change or the climate action that the global economies need to take. And last but not the least, which is about the minerals, the critical minerals, the AI, the artificial intelligence as well. Now, we know this fact, Siddharth, that the G20 Summit or the G20, the outcome is primarily non-binding in nature. That is, it is not mandatory to implement all the outcomes, but it depends upon the political will of the respective countries as to how to take forward the outcome of the G20. And we have seen that how, in last couple of G20 summits, the focus is, specifically on the Global South, the voice of the Global South, how can they reach on this multilateral platform? And of course, an inclusive approach can be, adopted. That is what the focus is likely to be as far as this G20 Summit is concerned.
Definitely. Arun, critical minerals, climate change, AI, you've just mentioned these three things. Really important for the global world, especially for the Global South. You've just mentioned Global South, Arun. It's a very crucial summit, especially for the countries of Global South. Arun, can you tell us what are the issues likely to be taken up?
So this G20 Summit is primarily will be having three important sessions. Number one is related to financing aspect. Now, we know this fact that various countries as of now are dealing under immense debt pressure.
You're right.
The debt to GDP ratio of various countries, specifically the African countries, is more than 100%. 125% is the debt to GDP ratio, 137% debt to GDP ratio of various African countries. So the focus will be on how to reduce this debt. Second important aspect in the financing aspect will be that no matter the global growth is reeling under pressure. So how can this growth be more inclusive in nature? That means how can more jobs be created?
Right.
How can local jobs can be created in various Global South countries? And how can primarily the benefit of industrialization can reach to the people of various countries? So the idea is more inclusive in nature. Second important aspect is about the climate action. Now, we know this fact that, in fact, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has undertaken various, ambitious targets like India will be becoming carbon neutral by 2070,
right,
or be it, initiatives like LIFE. Small initiatives like Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, that means one tree for your mother.
You're right.
So all these are being adopted by various world leaders as well. So yes, what more can be done as far as climate action is concerned? On that aspect, the G20 Summit, the leaders of the powerful grouping will of course be doing discussions, and outcome can be expected as to what can be done as far as climate change and climate action is concerned, because the world today is divided. Because on the climate actions, the developed economy have their different view as far as climate change is concerned. The developing nations and the underdeveloped nations have their different view. Last but not the least, that it is about the artificial intelligence and critical minerals. We have seen that supply chains were disrupted and the critical minerals could not reach to various countries, and therefore we have seen various sectors like automobiles, various sectors related to electronic manufacturing were massively disrupted. And today we can't imagine a world without the semiconductors or the critical minerals. So how can the supply chains be can be intact and they can be smoothened supply chain as far as the critical minerals are concerned? The focus will be on that aspect. Last but not the least, how can there be a collaborative efforts or approach as far as artificial intelligence is concerned? Because AI does not see any border, and now today is a time when deep fake is taking over. Cyber security is becoming a major concern.
Right.
In that context, there will be a global approach or a collaborative approach as far as AI is concerned. And Prime Minister Modi will be speaking on these three important sessions. So it is, be very much important because Global South will again be on the center stage when the G20 Summit is taking over in Johannesburg.
Definitely, Arun. As far as the issues of Global South is concerned, the country's job creation is one. You've just told us climate action is another, and of course, artificial intelligence. Arun, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also attend the India, Brazil, South Africa leaders meeting. Any updates on that? What can be taken up?
Yes, of course. So we know this fact that IPSA Summit, or the IPSA is a grouping of three developing economies. You can say that India, Brazil, South Africa. Now we have seen this point that these are the developing nations. So the approach is very much like-minded in nature. Second important aspect, at a time when tariff wars are intensifying and the developing nations are, facing the brunt of these kind of tariff wars. So, how can the economies be made resilient in nature? How can, the policies or the global policies can be made, which can be beneficial to these powerful grouping like IPSA, because IPSA is a important grouping or powerful grouping as far as developing nations are concerned, which consists of India, Brazil, and South Africa. Also, for the fact that minerals are important aspect, how can these three countries can collaborate as far as the minerals are concerned, energy transitions are concerned, or the energy is concerned. So, in that context, of course, these countries will be discussing on various aspects, and this three nation will also be focusing upon the fact that at a time when world is facing a massive global slowdown, various economies are under the pressure of massive debt. How can these countries can come forward and can ensure or can work under a vision that as India is leading by example as well, Siddharth, that India is a bright spot, and various global rating agencies have upgraded the rating of India as well. So this showcases that India is leading by example as far as the economic aspect is concerned. So in that context, the IPSA Summit is going to be very much important as far as the inclusive approach is concerned, AI or minerals are concerned, and of course, the job creation or the labor aspect is concerned.
All right. Thanks for those updates, Arun. We leave it there.